You're a woman at 60 years old. Why are you still listening to advice?
First question we ask folks when we talk to them, whether it's a lady or a gentleman or both, is are you coachable? And God bless you if you're not coachable and you just want to go do your own thing in your own way. But all we can do is say good luck, because there's not much hope for anybody like that. And the joke on that kind of starts with Tiger Wood back when he was an amazing golfer as a younger person. And everybody wanted to swing like Tiger Wood except Tiger Wood. He was constantly working on perfecting his swing, getting even better at what he was doing than he was before. And you're going to find that almost everybody that achieves a great deal, whether it's in athletics, economics, investment, or as a CPA or a CFP, certified financial planner, or certified public accountant, or like my wife, a professional singer who sounds so natural. It looks so natural. Isn't it wonderful? Well, she's been doing that since she was a little kid, and she does get coached on a regular basis, and she does perform once a week with a swing band, and gives a fabulous show. And it looks so natural and so easy. But JJ, what's the most interesting piece of advice you normally give your clients who are fully seasoned and are female and are on their own financially?
So it's really thinking about what the next stage of life looks like for them. So it's asking them, are they wanting to continue to doing the things they do now? Maybe that's spend time with kids and grandkids at this point, or others who like to travel. Okay, so what trips do you have coming up? What are we planning for? Are a couple of the particular top things that stand out with our clients?
And if we're lucky enough to get to talk to somebody a little bit earlier in their life, and we can say, let me try and explain the ages, stages, and phases that people go through. If you're open to find out what people actually go through. One, I commonly will suggest that you consider befriending, making friends with somebody who's 5 years older and someone who's 5 years younger than you, who lead a lifestyle like you like to lead, have the same basic beliefs that you like to live, maybe in the same profession. So you can give them some mentoring to the younger person, and maybe the younger person give you some helpful hints too, especially with your magic telephone devices and other technologies. And for the older person who is successful and happy and joyous and still full of energy and still in pretty good shape, find out, gee willikers, you're like, it all looks so easy and natural. How did that happen? And with any kind of luck, they'll give you some helpful hints in terms of how money actually works, the miracle of compounding, which even Einstein said was the most exciting mathematical concept he had ever encountered. JJ, tell us what the heck compounding means when it comes to investments.
Yes, definitely. So when your investment, say, increases to here, not only are your increase coming off the initial investment, but it's also increasing from the increasing amount. So each amount is making money from itself in addition from the initial investment.
And how that works here on the planet Earth in plain English is, let's say you're saving money on a regular basis from an early age, and you've accumulated a couple $100,000 in your various retirement accounts. And then you stop working and just go play, stop making contributions. But it's properly allocated. You have some large caps, some small caps, some mid cap, some international, and some, I'm going to call them fixed investments, so I don't have to say, and bonds, and I hate bonds. If you have a nice balanced portfolio and it's achieving a 7% or so rate of return on the principal and getting some dividends and some interest, it might start to double every 7.2 years or every 10 years. But that means that after 7 years, with a 10% rate of return, it kind of sort of did this. Then after 10 more years, that part doubled again. So literally you have about 4 times as much money in time as you did before. And since I've been a financial advisor for 38 wonderful years and a CPA for 50 years, I see that all the time when I do one view reports. And I see that, okay, even in my accounts, over time, I put in about $400,000 into all those various accounts, and son of a Brussels sprout, I have $1.3 million, which means $900,000 was an increase in value called compounding. And at 78, it's a lot more fun to have that much money just in those accounts, not counting the other accounts, than it would be to say, gee, I wish I had $1.3 million. Now, a million years ago, people gave you that advice, did you? And how have you followed it?
As far as compounding interest, it definitely, or even just little bits, little by little by little, continues to increase. Obviously, larger amounts will increase potentially faster. But as far as the habit of month in and month out of the investing, definitely increases over time.
We had one client who was absolutely beyond generous. And every time I would call her, I'd have to say, have you bought any houses or cars for other people lately? And what was her response, JJ?
She would have to think about it and try to figure out whether when she bought the last car or house and whether she had told us about it or not. That's a great example of someone as far as the age group and that we're talking about today is designing her life the way she wants to live it. So owns a company, running it, it's doing extremely well. And the lifestyle that she has, her commute to work was too far and it was a challenging situation as far as where her office is located. So what did she do? She found, I believe it's a condo, but found a condo closer to the office so that she could stay during the week while she's going into the office and to enjoy her farm home during on weekends when she's not commuting.
Which we affectionately call the Ponderosa. And in terms of that, I have any number of clients who say, I would love to, and you fill in the blank. We had one client who really loved to go to Creede, Colorado. And I thought, okay. And at the time, they just inherited some money and it had never really had any money before. And it so gave them some guidance. And I also reserved some money, being a good financial advisor, for a place in Creede, Colorado. And one Saturday morning, just as quick as a wink, I got a call from them saying, Mr. Checky, we have found a place in Creede, Colorado, and we'd like to buy it. We'd like to know how we're supposed to pay for it. I thought, okay. I said, you've dialed the right number. What I meant by that is we have reserved some money in advance for that particular event because you told me in advance that that's what you wanted to do. And for years and years, they had that wonderful property. They added on to the property and the homestead. They bought the place next to it too, so they couldn't have neighbors that didn't like. And my darling wife and I had visited that any number of times. And lucky for them, they got to live long enough and enjoy it long enough, where even though they crashed a car and went down the side of a mountain and lived through it, again, not making that up. I always suggest to folks of a certain age, and for ladies over a certain age, I always recommend this. If you want to move to some remote part of the world, look for the X where the Carefied helicopter lands. And they kind of look at me funny and say, what do you mean by that? I said, well, I have talked to enough people and had enough clients over the years who, when I say, gee willikers, how often have you been care flighted down from the mountain? They said, just 3 times. I said, okay. Are you making the connection between the fact you have trouble processing oxygen, breathing, and being at altitude where there's not as much air? Yeah, it is harder going up there. I have to wear my tank all the time, meaning an oxygen tank. I said, okay. The last time you went up there, did you mention it to the doctor before you went? They said, no, I was afraid to say no. So that's just another example of someone who's decided to do whatever the heck they want to do. And she had a full life. She got to live past 70, died, went to heaven. Her husband lived a couple of years beyond that. Had a wonderful life also, left 2 darling sons and their families behind, and they inherited part of the estate because one of the joys, biblically speaking, is to leave money to your children's children, which is a great joy, and it's part of what we also do at Checky Financial if you happen to be blessed with a family and blessed with the intent of preserving wealth for people. But before we do that and worry about those folks, we like to make sure that you're still having fun while you still have money, and you enjoy what you're doing, and you don't want it to get so cheap that you won't buy yourself a cup of coffee once in a while at the airport, unless you just really love packing your own liquid and drink it before you go through TSA. But if you take anything into TSA, it better not be a liquid. If you traveled since TSA became TSA and confiscated all containers with liquor or water in them, even if it's a cup of coffee. What's your most interesting travel story that you'd like to share with people that involved your family?
Goodness. Well, we road trip to, so it's not airplanes, but we road trip to Destin or Sandestin, Florida. at the time was right soon after we purchased the Expedition that we absolutely love, my wife's vehicle or family vehicle. And it was a great time, have pictures and memories along the way, had some delicious food. And our destination, we sure enjoyed our time there. It was not only time with friends, but it was also a bit of a church conference, or it was one. So we got to learn, to grow together, and play at the beach during the day. So it was definitely a memorable time. We did learn a little bit about the overnight driving, or maybe not overnight driving on long trips in the future. Just some of those things that kind of learn after experiencing.
One of the things I've learned from family over the years that if you want to be part of a wonderful family, it takes some effort to actually reach out to that family throughout your lifetime. So throughout my lifetime, I visited with in-laws, aunts, uncles, grandmothers of a wife or two, in terms of one dying and predeceasing me, and literally getting to know an entire family. So, ladies, if in fact you're a member of a family, God bless you for the effort that you made to do that. So you will not be lonely, and therefore you can avoid being old, sick, and broke. And we counsel people and mentor people and work with people to help them have fun and still have money. And if that sounds good to you, stay tuned. We'll have lots more episodes, and we're happy to help you help yourself enjoy your future.
Thanks for your time with you today, and subscribe so you'll get more videos for you to help you and your family enjoy the life that you desire.